Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Bill Howe Family of Companies, providing San Diego with plumbing, heating and air, restoration, flood and remodeling services for over 40 years. Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE or visit billhowe.com. And by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marcos Shiley, and by the following. And by viewers like you. Thank you.
It's a snapshot of homelessness in our county, but can we count on the results? Thanks for joining us. I'm Maya Trabulsi. Volunteers spread out across San Diego County for the annual point-in-time count today. However, KPBS reporter Jacob Ayer says there are many people without a roof over their heads who are left out.
Senior citizen Connie McCreath knows the pain of becoming homeless. She had been living out of a U-Haul van in Spring Valley since last August.
I have an income, but circumstances with economy, I can't afford the permanent roof over my head.
Now she's in a transitional shelter downtown, run by the nonprofit serving seniors, awaiting permanent housing. She says many people recently falling into homelessness are like her, not drug addicts, but impacted by serious health conditions and unable to afford rent in San Diego.
And I know there's many like me are very grateful and appreciative. And some say, oh, you still don't have a permanent place. From where I've been to this, all of my basic needs met.
Early Thursday morning, 1,600 volunteers at over 37 deployment sites throughout the county helped to put a number on San Diego's growing homeless population. While final numbers will take months to tally, the early results of the point-in-time count, which were collected in real time on a mobile app, showed the issue is getting worse. During a press conference with local officials, the numbers climbed by the hundreds.
The majority of the people that we spoke to out on the street this morning said that they do want help. They want shelter. They want housing. It was inspiring to hear the degree to which they are willing to accept the services if we offer them those services.
Serving Seniors President and CEO Paul Downey says the point-in-time count is far from perfect, and the true number of people experiencing homelessness in the county is likely much higher.
It is a flawed system. We do the best we can to try to count every person who is unhoused in San Diego on a single day. But the undercount is probably 30 to 40% at least.
He says the current state of homelessness is the worst he's seen in his 30 years working in the field. He says local leaders need to do more to speed up affordable housing projects, connect residents to a wide range of shelter options, and protect tenants on the brink of homelessness.
So these are our friends and neighbors, and they became homeless here. They didn't move here because San Diego's a great place to be homeless. They became homeless here because something bad happened to them, primarily economically, to lead them into the spot that they're in now.
On the same day as the point-in-time count, a homeless shelter opened at the Old Central Library in downtown. The 36-bed shelter will operate at night and exclusively serve women. Official numbers for this year's count will be released in the coming months, which will help determine the amount of federal funding for homelessness directed to the region. Jacob Ayer, KPBS News.
Last year's point-in-time count showed a large number of unsheltered people in the East County. District 2 Supervisor Joel Anderson says that while a large encampment on Magnolia Avenue has been replaced with a safe parking site, he's still concerned about people camped out along riverbeds and drainage ditches.
And when the rains come, like they did last week, we saw a lot of their belongings washing out to the ocean. We need to get to those folks before anybody dies. We need to get to those folks and make sure that we increase their quality of life along with their neighbors.
Anderson said 5 years ago East County officials weren't aware there was an issue with homelessness in their area and that a lot of progress has been made in the past year in finding shelter for people. And the point-in-time count also took place up in the north today. KPBS North County reporter Tanya Thorne went out with service providers in Escondido.
Where did you sleep last night? Is this the first time you've been homeless? How long have you been homeless? These are some of the questions volunteers set out to ask people experiencing homelessness in today's point-in-time count.
Thank you for your participation. Okay, and for your participation, you get a $10 gift card.
Jasmine Lee is one of the many people participating in the count. She's been homeless for about 5 years and says she feels forced to live in the encampment near the Escondido freeway.
We have nowhere to go. And then you go out to the street, and then you put an encampment out there, and the Escondido cops, they will not let you park your stuff anywhere, nowhere. So it's like, well, where do you go? So you literally have to come back like to a zone like this.
She's made this area her home for about 7 months. She says cleaning sweeps by Caltrans have made it more difficult to find housing. Lee says IDs and documents are often discarded during those sweeps.
You're being pulled back 5 steps, and then it's just like you want to get a car and you want to do all these things, and it's just like you don't have your ID. You can't. It's back to back to back constant.
But the biggest setback is the lack of shelter beds in North County for people like Lee. Greg Angel is the CEO of Interfaith Community Services, the only provider of low-barrier shelters for all genders in North County.
We're in a riverbed area here, and so the recent storms created a lot of damage around here, and so there's actually more trash and more debris than there has been in the past. But unfortunately, people come here when they don't have any other place to go.
He says he expects the numbers to be higher in North County this year.
Last year, we counted about 2,000 individuals experiencing homelessness just in North County. There are only 150 shelter beds entirely in North County. So the availability of shelter just doesn't match how many people are out here living in situations like this.
He says this year's count is especially important because more funding for resources is needed.
It shows the need for more investment from the federal government, from the state government, and from the local government.
Interfaith is preparing to open a 36-bed family shelter in March. Oceanside's first homeless shelter is under construction and expected to open in June. Tanya Thorne, KPBS News.
Today's high winds caused quite a mess across the county, bringing down dozens of large trees. Balboa Park was closed to the public so city crews could remove fallen tree limbs and branches from the streets and the walkways. One of the trees that fell hit a woman who was then taken to the hospital to be treated for her injuries. Balboa Park Golf Course, Presidio Park, and Choyas Lake were also closed for cleanup. It's a story that's captured national attention. The transgender woman who was called out by a teenager for using a woman's locker room spoke out in her own defense. KPBS reporter Kitty Alvarado shows us what happened.
So Christine Wood is first.
It was standing room only at Wednesday night's City Council meeting in Santee.
It appears that I inadvertently caused quite a scandal.
Word got out that Kristen Wood, a transgender woman, would be speaking during public comment a couple of weeks after a teenager told the same council and other media that she was terrified after seeing Wood outside her shower at the YMCA locker room. The teen said she feared for her sister and other children. That sparked protests, and the debate was still happening inside the council meeting last night.
They're interrupting. Do something about this. They're interrupting.
But Wood had her turn to speak her truth.
Since then, the amount of organized hatred and lies to vilify and demonize me and other members of the transgender community has truly been disheartening and disgusting. In the year I've been a member of the Y, children have attended summer camp and have been with their parents and grandparents in the women's locker room with me, and there has never, ever been an incident, ever. Not until one was manufactured using this forum to do so.
And had plenty of support as she made her final point clear.
I am a threat to no one. Bless you all, and thank you. Thank you.
But those against Wood and people like her made their voices heard too.
If everyone can be a woman, then no one is a woman. If feelings now drive and supersede basic biology, then anything goes.
We are not going to bow down to your gender ideology cult. We're not. Your fantasy land. It doesn't make it real because it's your fantasy land. So here's what needs to happen tonight. You guys, while you still have your do something about it.
The city leases the property and building of the YMCA for $1 per year. You have the option of not renewing that lease.
During an interview with KPBS Midday Edition, Wood was asked if she felt safe.
Sweetie, I'm as safe as any transgender woman of color, which means probably not so much, considering that I do live in East County and have for 15 years. I am not about to leave.
Santee's mayor said during the meeting they've met with the YMCA and the legal team to make sure everyone feels protected and valued in the community. Kitty Alvarado, KPBS News.
And you can hear the full interview with Christine Wood on the KPBS Midday Edition podcast. It's part of our lineup of several shows available to stream anytime, wherever you get your podcasts. On the heels of 2 mass shootings, California Democrats are proposing a state bill requiring gun owners to insure their firearms. Today, State Senators Catherine Blakespear from Encinitas and Nancy Skinner from Berkeley announced the new legislation, SB 8. It's modeled after San Jose's new gun liability insurance law. It would require coverage for loss or damage resulting from negligent or accidental use of firearms.
I'm Jeff Bennett. Tonight on the NewsHour, Israeli forces conduct the deadliest single operation in the West Bank in 2 decades. Coming up at 7 after Evening Edition on KPBS.
Another California Democrat isn't waiting for Senator Dianne Feinstein to retire before announcing a run for her seat. Congressman Adam Schiff announced his candidacy today. He has chaired the House Intelligence Committee and served on the January 6th Select Committee. He was also House manager for former President Donald Trump's first impeachment trial. Feinstein is 89 years old and has yet to announce if she wants to serve another term. The National Archives is going back 6 administrations, asking former presidents and vice presidents to check their files for classified documents. The archives sent a letter asking the former leaders to check their files. Reps for former President Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, and the late George H.W. Bush say all classified records had been turned over to the archives upon leaving office. And this comes amid heightened scrutiny from lawmakers on both sides of the aisle. John Lawrence has more.
A bunch of questions are swirling around Washington, D.C. right now.
What were the documents? What did they contain? Was there any damage?
And lawmakers want answers. The Senate Intelligence Committee says they have not been given access to the classified information discovered in the possession of President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump.
This position that we are left in limbo until somehow a special counsel designates that it's okay for us to get briefed is not going to stand.
Other lawmakers say they'll take action against the White House.
I'm prepared to refuse, consent, or to fast-track any nominee for any department or agency and to take every step I can on every committee on which I serve to impose consequences on the administration until they provide these documents.
Meanwhile, the roughly 12 items of classified material discovered at former Vice President Mike Pence's home are described as background briefing memos, numerous sources tell CNN. A U.S. official says the FBI is working alongside U.S. intelligence agencies to assess the documents. Meanwhile, lawmakers from both parties are upset with the overall situation.
I'm frustrated that if anyone doesn't handle confidential and secret documents in the manner in which they're supposed to.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Gender equity is under the microscope at Scripps Institution of Oceanography. That's after a report from UC San Diego revealed women faculty and researchers have only half of the lab space that men have. And according to the report, this gender disparity also extends to office and storage space. The disparity cannot be explained by funding, academic discipline, or the years a faculty member has spent at the institution. The lack of space means less room for research staff and a reduced chance to get grants to fund their research.
Because they don't have as much space, they can't be as productive. They can't publish as many papers, give as many talks, do the work that academics do to tell the world about the research that we've done. And if they can't do as much of that, then they're less likely to get a grant.
UC San Diego's Chancellor Pradeep Khosla has appointed a committee to reform the system of allocating space. This was a banner day for thousands of San Diego County students applying for college, especially to historically black colleges and universities. KPBS education reporter MG Perez takes us to the Expo, where dreams were born today.
Welcome to the Black College Expo!
These are the faces of 11th and 12th grade students from campuses across San Diego County. They are gifted and experienced in many different ways, and they share so much more.
Just to be surrounded by your culture, I feel like that's important.
17-year-old Kaylee Thaxton Barney is a senior at San Pasqual High School in Escondido. She is one of almost 3,000 students who came to the 6th annual Black College Expo in Southeast San Diego to be educated about opportunities that could come after graduation. What do you want to study in college?
I'm going to study radiology, and I'm hoping to become a traveling MRI tech.
Among the possibilities for Kaylee and other graduating seniors, Texas Southern University in Houston, Harris Stowe State in St. Louis, and Virginia University of Lynchburg, all among the historically black colleges and universities, commonly known as HBCUs.
For many of our students, that's their first time generation going to college. And so for an experience like historical black colleges, presents them some information about who they are, where they can be.
Attending a historically black college or university close to home is especially challenging for these students. That's because there's only one in the entire state of California. That is Drew University School of Science and Medicine in Los Angeles.
I'll go anywhere. I'm not as scared of, any limitations. I think it's worth it to take the risk.
Princess Galvan is open to any university that will support her long-term dream of becoming a psychologist to help her community.
I am mixed. I'm African American and Mexican, and there's not a lot of representation for Afro-Latina, so I want to be around where there is more representation.
There was representation here today, along with some real success stories. Ravion Bash was accepted on the spot to Houston Tillotson University in Texas and received a $2,500 acceptance scholarship. That's just one of many picture-perfect moments and investments in the next generation of scholars. MG Perez, KPBS News.
California voters will weigh in next year on a law aimed at improving working conditions for fast food employees. The measure passed the legislature, but opponents launched a referendum. The law would create a new fast food council within a state agency where labor and company representatives would negotiate on minimum wages and working conditions. Chipotle, Starbucks, and In-N-Out Burger each donated $2 million to stop the law from taking effect and let voters decide. Southwest Airlines is expecting another major earnings loss on the heels of a major financial hit. As Mike Valerio reports, it all stems from the company's holiday travel meltdown.
Southwest Airlines expecting to face turbulent times, reporting its quarterly earnings are in the red.
We're disappointed to report a Q4 net loss as we were on track to produce a healthy fourth quarter profit prior to December the 21st.
The fourth quarter earnings loss coming after Southwest canceled nearly 17,000 flights during December's holiday season, which the airline estimates will cost them around $800 million, and warns the company expects to take another financial hit in the first quarter of 2023, with the effects of the meltdown expected to ripple into the new year.
While I'm not proud of what happened, I am very proud of our people and all that they have done to take care of our customers and their needs.
The U.S. Department of Transportation launched an investigation into the Southwest holiday travel meltdown. The airline says it's focused on making sure it never happens again, responding in a statement saying, "Our systems and processes became stressed while working to recover from multiple days of flight cancellations across 50 airports in the wake of an unprecedented storm. We will continue to cooperate with any inquiry or request from government oversight or elected officials. We're acutely focused on learning from this event, mitigating the risk of a repeat occurrence, and delivering the hospitality and outstanding service our customers expect from us."
Mike Valerio, KPBS News.
Our windstorm will slowly diminish into the nighttime hours, and looking ahead on our weather headlines, checking on a chilly storm that'll be diving down the coast over the weekend. So we'll see some rain and snow on the way. and some chilly temperatures. Friday, though, looks pretty nice. We'll start you off with the wind. High wind warnings, wind advisories continue through the evenings, and with the windstorm, if you can avoid travel, please do so. There could be debris and objects on the roadways, and if you're in your home, you want to stay down the lower level, just in case some branches fall on your rooftop there, and stay away from the windows. Overnight tonight, you'll see temperatures dropping down to the low 40s as the winds diminish. Skies will be clear, and it will be chilly. Here's a look at our temperatures, dropping down to the 30s. Oceanside, Escondido, and Ramona, El Cajon, down to 38 degrees too. Here's a check on the futurecast. Satellite and radar, all is quiet with our strong offshore flow. As we take a look at the forecast for tomorrow, pleasant day. Temperatures mid-60s Oceanside, but we'll be near 70 in El Cajon. Borrego Springs, it's 66 in Mount Lagunas, up to 50 degrees. On Saturday, dry weather continues, but we'll see the flow starting to turn onshore, so that means more in the way of clouds. And it looks like by Sunday and Monday, this cold storm drops down into the area, lowering the snow levels. Snow levels will crash later Sunday into Monday, and we'll be looking at some wet weather here in San Diego County, and there could be some thunderstorms, perhaps in the area too. So the weather will certainly change briefly from Sunday into Monday. And once this storm passes, look at that, a chilly day here on Monday. As we take you into the inland sections, weather deteriorates Sunday into Monday with our wet weather and chilly temperatures, and up in the mountains, snow levels will get down perhaps as low as 3,000 feet. So up in the higher terrain, there will be some significant snow. Some spots could see 6 to 12 inches. And then as we take you out to the desert, well, the wet weather will be with us and the cool temperatures Sunday night into Monday. And for KPBS News, I'm meteorologist Mark Mancuso.
It's the newest restaurant hotspot in Barrio Logan, and it's run completely by culinary students working on their careers while helping the community. KPBS education reporter MG Perez is in the kitchen where learning is happening, and an outdoor bistro is now serving.
You see how it's almost turning into peanut butter?
It isn't peanut butter. Just the creamy consistency of mixed flour and fat sizzling in a skillet to make a French sauce known as roux.
This is a basic roux, and so what we're going to do is take this, set it aside, and then we're going to add it as a thickening agent for our clam chowder.
Brian Brennan is one of the student chefs here at the California Culinary Arts Institute in Barrio Logan. He's already completed 4 months of rigorous commercial cooking education. Before the pandemic, he had a job serving and hosting at a restaurant.
My experience with food was mainly front of the house until COVID stole my job, and I decided to find a purpose. And so I found out I'm really good at this.
Brennan is one of a half-dozen advanced students who will spend the next 4 months of their externship cooking and running a new outdoor bistro. The bistro is on the patio of the Culinary Arts Institute on National Avenue. The group of students must manage, purchase, cook, and serve customers.
Whether you make too much and you're wasting money, or you make just enough and you get it perfect, and just because the school is so new and we don't know the traffic, it's a balancing act.
When you serve someone, you serve them with love and care.
The students are being mentored by executive chef and instructor Sohrab Zarqoui, an Iranian immigrant with a lifetime of experience in kitchens around the world. He started the school as a business, but the bistro will benefit the community. All proceeds from food sales are donated to help the homeless and the San Diego Humane Society. Zarqoui is educating his students in hopes they will pay it forward.
In running a restaurant, as a manager, as a chef manager, they would be able to handle the front of the house and the back of the house. So if in future they want to own their own restaurant, they have that experience.
My passion is through food, and I feel like it is a way for me to say that I care through food.
Vijit Vanarath needed to find life again after losing her mom, her godmother, father-in-law, and sister-in-law to COVID early in the pandemic. She is accomplished in Asian cuisine and committed to using her talent to develop French and Italian dishes for the bistro. She cooks in honor of those who she lost.
I want them to be proud of me. I want them to still know that I'm doing it, even though life is tough without them.
I'm gonna have the eggplant parmesan sandwich.
Okay. And I would love the arancini, please.
Second course.
Second course. As paying customers, KPBS videographer Charlotte Radulovich and I had lunch at the Bistro.
Yes, sir.
Angelina Aguayo was our student waitress with a simple plan for her future.
Just finding a good, stable restaurant to set myself at, and maybe when I retire, have a food truck and just travel the world. I feel like that's such a basic thing to say, but that is, I love food and I love traveling.
All right, mango lemonade. Cheers.
Cheers. Ooh, the flavors. It's really good.
For now, the Bistro at California Culinary Arts Institute is open Monday through Friday for lunch from 11 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. But with careers to cultivate and the community to help, the chefs in training want to make this Bistro the taste of the town.
My compliments to the chef. Let the kitchen know we are very happy.
I will let them know.
Thank you.
MG Perez, KPBS News.
That MG has all the fun. Now, you can find tonight's stories on our website, kpbs.org. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Maya Trabulsi. Good night.
Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Bill Howe Family of Companies, providing San Diego with plumbing, heating and air, restoration, flood and remodeling services for over 40 years. Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE or visit billhowe.com. And by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marco Shiley. And by the following: and by viewers like you. Thank you.